Johnny whispers of some quiet conversation. She's coming in 12:95. Her moonlit wings reflect the stars that lead to her salvation. I stopped an old man along the way, hoping to find some old forgotten words of ancient melodies. He turned to me as if to say, hurry boy, waiting there for you. He's gonna take a lot to make me away from you.
My cat was like, what the hell's going on? I gave you a little cold open. Yeah, I like it.
I can't wait.
I mean, you don't have to use it, but it's an option.
No, that's great because I struggle. Sometimes it's just like it makes sense. Like I'll find something in the recording and I'm like, perfect. At other times I'm like, I have no idea. Like the one time I just opened with the empty chairs of us because I was like, there's no good intro here.
Okay, Hudson. Well, first off, congratulations and thank you. We hit 500 subscribers on our YouTube channel,
Awesome.
which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And I brought a special segment for us today that we can do a little bit later. But it's how well do we actually know each other? We've known each other for, when did you get hired? 2015?
2015?
So we've known each other for like 8 years.
Yeah, long time.
Let's see if we actually know anything about each other.
Okay.
The problem is some of these things are just like a memory test, and I don't really have a good memory.
I have a worse memory than you.
So we'll see.
But no, it's awesome. Seriously, it makes me really happy that people watch this and are interested in it and get something out of it because I never would have thought just people would enjoy watching us just talk about dumb shit, random shit.
It's very flattering.
Yeah.
And also thank you to the people that have joined the Discord community, which we have linked in the description. That's been awesome. We had our first movie night this past weekend. You did your first D&D night. How did your D&D night go?
It was just session 0, but it was cool.
Was it session 0 is just like creation?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, gotcha.
But the group seems really cool. I'm very excited for future sessions.
You play a lot of D&D. You have played a lot of D&D.
I've played a moderate amount. I would not say I'm an expert, but we're doing Tales from the Loop, and it's
okay.
So it's a very different system,
gotcha.
And it's less bogged down in math and numbers than D&D is.
They made a movie out of that, or a TV show out of that. Yeah, a series out of that on Amazon.
Did you watch that?
I watched some of it. It's okay. It's it's very who's that artist? Simon Stålenhag. It's very Simon Stålenhag.
Oh yeah.
Art wise, I think he actually maybe helped make.
I have no idea. I really liked that show.
Yeah, this is unique, if nothing else. Well, updates in the last week. We went to eat those wings together. It's pretty good, man. I liked them a lot.
Good. Because I wasn't looking forward to.
You weren't looking forward to hang out with me and my wife?
To you not liking them.
I liked them.
I think that's great.
Yeah, they were big, juicy. They were crunchy, which is a big. I like a good crunch.
Yeah.
And they were the one. There was, God, what the fuck? What is the flavor? Not
the honey sambal.
Sambal. That's the one. Honey sambal. That's the one that was real good.
Yeah.
I didn't like the Nashville hot so much. Kind of had no. It was just like a weird flavor, like overly burnt spices flavor, and also a little spicy. A little spicy for you.
Oh yeah, it kicked my ass.
But I went and saw Oppenheimer. I think the day we shot our last podcast, and then you went and saw it a few days later. And I was so excited to talk to you about it. And how did you feel about it?
That it was a big pile of poopy trash.
Dude, I was so nervous that I was going to get there and you're going to be like, dude, it was really great. Fuck, I'm just stupid. I'm dumb. I don't know enough. I'm a dumb guy. Smart people like this movie. But when I got there and you were like, it was horrible, I was like, thank fucking God. Yeah, I will say good things about that movie. All of the actors were phenomenal.
Incredible.
obviously, almost everything about it looked amazing.
Yeah.
And I say almost because the one thing that you really needed to look amazing didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of it.
Yeah, cinematography and acting were out of this world.
Yeah.
And were, to me, the only things...
Oh, sorry. Soundtrack. Also incredible.
Yeah, no, it was incredible.
Score, I should say.
Other than the fact that it was the entire movie.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't let his foot off the gas pedal of that soundtrack for more than a few seconds, more than a few times throughout the entire movie.
Yeah, it was.
And I was telling you all this. I understood the intent was for the parts where the score led up to draw emphasis. Fine, like I get that was your idea, but the soundtrack was exhausting. I was so sick of it about halfway through the movie.
I mean, the whole movie was like, you know how like in the horror movie the violins get a little bit faster every the whole movie was just that. Like the violins just getting faster the whole time.
Yeah.
It didn't bother me, but that's what it was. They were just like building tension the whole movie, and it didn't really build to anything.
You said something, the first thing you said when we sat down, which I thought was a really nicely succinct way of putting it, was that you felt like you just watched a summary of a movie.
Yeah.
And that is a really great way of how I felt.
Yeah.
I felt like, wow, this could have been really good if I had all the other parts that we were missing.
It was a movie that was entirely broad strokes and no detail.
Yep.
And there were so many times where I was like, it would be so cool if they went into detail on some of this stuff. Because following the movie, or like following the up to the release of the movie, there was people making videos about interesting things that came up during the creation of the first bomb. Things like the tolerances being so tight on when they insert the core into it, the tolerances were so tight that like it initially didn't fit. And then as like the radiant heat of it heated up just enough that it slid in, it was like, that's really interesting. But yeah, there was nothing like that.
Yeah, because ultimately the movie wasn't about the Manhattan Project, which would have been a more interesting movie. It was I guess a biopic about Oppenheimer, but I feel like I learned nothing about Oppenheimer.
No.
Because the movie didn't show me anything about Oppenheimer.
No, he had an affair. You know he ran the Manhattan Project.
Which were things I already knew. So, what did I write down? Oh, yeah, I one of the cornerstones of good storytelling is show, don't tell, and that movie was all tell. It didn't show anything.
Specifically, well, not specifically, but a big example of this was, all right, so they did the nuclear bomb explosion, the Trinity test, and
which we'll get to that.
The whole movie built up to this moment. All the marketing built up to this, talking about how he recreated a nuclear explosion visually using practical effects, using tons of different kinds of explosions, and a bunch of different practical things. And then you see it, and you're like, wow, that looked terrible.
Yeah, it looked like somebody set off a pile of fireworks.
That's it. There was no intensity to that moment.
No.
And so when that happened, I was disappointed extremely. But then I was like, okay, well then I'm wondering if they're saving the intensity for when they actually drop the bombs on Japan. And then they quickly shut that thought down with a radio broadcast that says, it sounds like some nuclear bombs have been dropped over Japan. And that was it.
Yeah, because the movie ultimately didn't wrestle at all with the problem, with the very difficult philosophical moral ramifications of nuclear bombs.
Right. And
it walked right up to the edge, and then it just told us that Oppenheimer felt bad about it.
Yeah.
And then it walked away from that question.
Totally. And it felt pretty cowardly to shy away from the atrocity that was those two nuclear bombings of Japan.
Right.
It's a touchy subject for good reason.
Right.
But I think also the education on that and just like seeing that is important for people. We're, I don't know, 80 years away from it. Sorry, 70 years away from it.
Yeah. And there's there's so much interesting discussion to be had around that subject. And did we do the right thing? Was it, there's so much nuance to that I felt like the movie was going to dive into.
Yeah.
And it just revolved around Oppenheimer's narcissistic point of view about how he built the bomb and then was sad about it and then was mad that he was cut out of further discussion about hydrogen bombs. And I just and I understood. I get that this was supposed to be, a fixed perspective biopic on Oppenheimer, but they would cut away to Strauss, Robert Downey Jr.'s character, so it wasn't entirely fixed on Oppenheimer.
No.
So they could have done more with that story.
Yeah, they did not do a lot with it. That's in my like bottom tier of Nolan movies, which I'll be honest, I feel like I have more Nolan movies I didn't like than ones I like nowadays. I like Dark Knight a lot, and he did the other Batmans as well, right? The trilogy there.
I think so, yeah.
Those were good, but not the best.
I like Christopher Nolan. I've liked the majority of his movies outside of Tenet.
I hated Tenet,
which I felt was, man, Tenet had one of the, I may have even said this before, Tenet had one of the best opening scenes of any movie I've ever seen, and then it went really stupid.
Yeah.
And I was so excited for this movie, and man, I if I was by myself, I would have walked out of the theater. I was so bored by this movie.
Dude, at the end of the movie, this old lady sitting next to me like hits me on the knee and she goes, "I thought it would never end." You're right. I take it back. There's more Christopher Nolan movies I think that I like than I don't like. Interstellar I like, Dunkirk I like.
Yeah, Dunkirk was great.
Inception
was great. Yeah.
So those are all good. So, but a couple of misses recently for sure.
So, but our opinion is in the clear minority.
It's crazy. I felt fucking insane.
I was talking with Leslie about this last night, and we were reading through the R movies thread about it.
Same.
And because I was trying to understand what it was people saw in this movie, and I still don't see what they saw in this movie, but I think one of the things that people saw in this movie is just the desperation of a non-Disney big budget movie.
Yeah.
From and this was a term I was introduced to recently, auteur director, somebody who, when a director is the singular creative drive behind a project. So other examples of those would be like Tarantino, Wes Anderson, Scorsese, and to their point, there aren't that many of those anymore, because a lot of these big budget movies are designed by committees and marketing, and they're bereft of singular creative vision. So
sure.
I think from reading the R movies thread about it, it seemed that a lot of people were excited that this movie opened well. It was almost like they had a personal investment in this, and their opinion of the movie was warped by that. We want more of this. That's my guess, because I can't understand how other than that you could have liked this movie. But art's personal, and people see different things in different movies. But all I saw was shit.
Yeah.
And
again, great acting and great cinematography. Like it really did look great. I didn't really understand the significance of having the Robert Downey Jr. parts be in black and white, other than like showing it was a different perspective. But
yeah,
it didn't like add, it sort of, instead of adding to the movie, it sort of like brought me out of it every time it would switch. But
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess to show that those were the only scenes of the movie that weren't fixed on Oppenheimer's perspective.
Yeah.
But why would you do that? I don't know.
Yeah. What is with Christopher Nolan and telling stories in a non-linear fashion? Why is that his thing?
It is. I mean, I know he did that in Tenet.
Interstellar? To
I
an
guess
extent.
so. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea, but sometimes it works. I think it worked in Interstellar.
Yeah. Did not work in Tenet for me.
No, no, and
Yeah.
it really didn't work in this movie. One of the things that really pissed me off the most about this movie was the shallowness of the characters. Because how could you? Every scene was 15 seconds.
Yeah.
How could you ever build any characters in that show or in that movie? Particularly the women characters, who this is probably one of the things that pissed me off the most, and was very indicative of the fact that he was just exposition telling you how you should feel in every scene. Was at the end, his wife, who up to this point in the movie had been somebody who didn't want to be a mother, was drunk all the time, or doing laundry. Those were her three primary characteristics. And suddenly she goes to testify, and Oppenheimer is sure that she'll show him what's up because they've been through hell, and it almost felt like Christopher Nolan was building up the scene of like, wow, women are smart too, as a big reveal. I don't understand what that scene was supposed to do.
It was so bizarre, dude.
And what's more ridiculous is that his wife in real life was a biologist. She was a lab technician that worked at Los Alamos.
Oh, so in this movie, she was just like a dumb drunk who was like let herself get walked all over.
Right.
Great.
And then in real life, his lover, the what's the actress?
Florence Pugh.
She was a doctor and a psychiatrist.
Again, in this one, she's nothing, right?
In the movies, these are just women.
She's just a desperate.
Yeah, they're just distractions for Oppenheimer and his genius.
Oh my
It felt
God.
so ridiculous, and then he inserted the famous line that Oppenheimer said, where he's quoting the Hindu scripture of "I am become death."
He said it 3 times in the movie, right? At least 3.
Did he?
I think there was one in the beginning, and there's definitely one there, and then maybe another one.
And the sex scene was so weird.
Yeah, actually, read this part. Just happened to pick that line, huh? Really interesting. Yeah, bizarre. I also thought the part that he left, he like inserted a little shot to leave it ambiguous as to whether her death was a suicide or not. With like, there was one shot where a guy was like, drowning her, but then the other shots were not that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, I don't know. It could have, like, what does this matter?
Right.
What are you doing?
Man, it was a trip.
This trip.
Big letdown.
Yeah. Should probably, I just realized we should probably spoiler tag this or move this towards the end because we just opened with a 2-week-old movie. It's hard to spoil a movie about history, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I
don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, spoilers. He built the bomb.
Yeah. That's the one I spoiled for you. So he did it. Man. Okay. I have a few things. First off, I would like to know, do you have any not gross, do you have any foods that you make for yourself that other people might think are gross? Like, that was like a holdover from like poverty meals?
I don't think gross, but maybe like
Unappealing?
not necessarily appetizing.
Yeah.
So my mom to this day will still make these pancakes they're just pancakes is almost a misnomer because they're not what you would think of. If I said here's a pancake, you would be like, what the fuck is this? But they're just these little like whole wheat pancakes, I guess. I mean, they're like this big. She just cooks them on a griddle. We love them, but I don't think they would have mass appeal because we just eat them without syrup or butter or anything. Because it just like sweetens it with honey.
Okay.
They are kind of poverty food because when we were younger and my mom had to cook for a million children, it was all about like industrial scale cooking.
What is like if you're in your kitchen, you have very little food left, like you don't want to make a meal. What is like a thing you're willing to eat that other people would be like, that's what are you doing? Whether it's like for example, sometimes Grace, she will just throw a few hot dogs in the microwave and just like eat them, and that's it. Just plain hot dogs, no bun, no ketchup. Just eat the dogs. I have even worse ones, but I want to know if you have any of those.
I don't know. I mean, the only thing I do like that is if I just have nothing, but I have any sort of chips and cheese, I'll just. But that's not weird or gross. I'll just make nachos.
Yeah.
But I used to do that way too much.
Yeah. No. Do you microwave them or throw them in the oven?
Microwave them.
Man, pretty good when throw them in the oven. But I'm with you on
Yeah,
the microwave does a weird thing to the cheese though. It makes weird little micro bubbles.
Yeah, it makes it a lot worse. But I don't have the patience to turn on the oven and wait for it.
I have a delicious snack that I make on occasion. Not as much anymore because I'm pretty good at shopping now, so I have enough food. But it's pretty simple.
Okay.
Take some bread, put a little mayo on there, and you eat it. It's called mayo bread. Mayonnaise and bread.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just beginnings of a sandwich. We just never quite got there.
Yeah, not even close.
Yeah.
Do you put? Is it 2 pieces of bread?
Mm-hmm. It could be one and folded, but
it's not.
But if you want a full mayo bread sandwich, it's 2.
Yeah,
I had one
anything
today.
like that.
I had one today because I wanted a quick, small breakfast. And I put a little gochujang on it, which is you don't normally do with a mayo bread sandwich, but I did.
Wait, you put what on it?
Gochujang.
Explain what that is.
It's Korean pepper paste. It is delicious. It's
Oh,
a staple ingredient for Korean food.
Mayo sandwich does not sound very good to me.
It's not, but it's edible. You know, with the right kind of bread. If you get Martin's potato bread, it's okay. The Martin's potato bread and mayonnaise just go really well together.
Yeah,
would be way better with some lunch meat on there.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's it. That's all you would need is like a little bit of chicken, and I have that. But
wait. So you?
Yeah, I just didn't want to eat the meat. I just wanted I wanted it to be a little bit smaller than with meat on.
Okay, so this isn't a situation where you just have nothing.
You
have all the ingredients for more than a mayo bread.
This
sandwich.
is very quick. I don't even want to pull the deli meat out and put it on there. Yeah, I have no excuse. I just like it.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah, it's a weird food, and. Similar to that, what is something, if you want to say, what's something gross you do? And I'm not talking sexual. I'm just talking personally. If someone saw it, you'd be like, that's gross. Like, this is one thing that I've seen people do that absolutely, what's the word? It's disgusting. They eat boogers. That is horrendous.
No.
One gross thing that I do, and I have stopped this behavior because I understand that it's pretty juvenile and high school boy-y, but when I go to bed at night, if I forget to take my contacts out, I'll just take them and put them on my side table, and then that would build up into like a little pile of old contacts. And I think that like people without contacts are like, ew, that's gross, but like to me, it's just like, I don't know, it's just little pieces of plastic. It's not that big of a deal. I understand why you would think it's gross. And it is definitely like gross juvenile behavior, but yeah, that is definitely something I've done.
Yeah, I mean, I do. This isn't probably abnormal behavior, but I burp and fart very loudly all the time around Leslie. Yeah, but it's it's if other people would see that, they would be like, "Holy shit, that's disgusting." The level, it's the amount.
Yeah. I mean, I'm right there with you. So to me, that's just normal.
I'm trying to think of like Yeah, but maybe to us it's normal.
I mean,
I know that Leslie doesn't always
I
appreciate
feel
it.
bad for Grace. Like sometimes I'll get up to go pee in the middle of the night, and while I'm peeing, I'll just let one rip, and it's loud enough that it wakes her up, and she goes, "Shut up, shut up." I'm sorry.
I mean, I do have like a lot of booger problems.
Do you?
Yeah.
You're a booger boy.
And 99% of the time when I'm away from home, I take care of it in a sanitary way. You know, I'll wash my hands after I pick a booger.
Oh yeah,
But at home, it's
I'm with you.
you know, this is, particularly if I'm sitting at my computer, it's just I'll just go to town.
Pick and flick.
Exactly.
Dude, there was a fucking disgusting thing that happened at Rooster Teeth where someone would stick their boogers above the urinal on the wall. And so there ended up just being a collection of fucking boogers. I'm like, this was like, I think this was around the time where the company realized, like, hey, dude, we're not a frat. Like,
Right.
we need to start being adults.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm glad they did because that shit was disgusting, bro.
Oh man.
When you,
I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty self-aware when I'm doing gross things. That I try to mitigate the grossness for other people. So I don't know if I have good self-incriminating gross behaviors.
when you get pee on the seat, do you wipe it up immediately every time?
Oh, I lift the seat up.
Well, I mean on the rim. Sorry, not the seat. I don't pee the seat down.
Oh yeah, no, I don't want that shit.
That's pretty gross.
Is it?
I don't wipe it up immediately all the time, but Grace, who is the one who generally cleans the bathrooms, thinks it's pretty fucking gross. Which I agree. And when someone's coming over, I'll clean that toilet rim.
Yeah.
Because it is gross. When you go pee, and this is something that Grace discovered about me like a week ago, and we've been together for over 8 years, almost 9 years now, and she's like, she just discovered this and was angry and maybe a little bit mortified. She came out of the bathroom and said, "Hey, when you pee, do you put your hand on the wall and like pee?" And I go, "Oh yeah, for sure, because that's the best way to pee." Do you do that?
Yes. Yeah. I was telling you this, that I used to have a shelf, a little cabinet above where I peed in our last place that I could just lean my head against, and it was so nice, particularly at night when I was really tired.
Yes.
I just closed my eyes and pee.
Yeah. In my master bathroom, I have a small window right about this height, like chest height, with a ledge, and I put both my arms there and I put my head down when I'm middle of the night peeing, so I can maintain the sleep. Because I don't want to wake up. I want to keep eyes closed, maybe a little bit of nap while I'm peeing. But I don't understand if this cannot be that uncommon.
No, it can't be.
But and I know it's not, because in that bedroom with the windowsill, when we bought the house, the paint was peeling on like either side where a hand would go. So the guy who did it there, he also enjoyed the beauties of this ledge. So
that has to be a very common male experience.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely ones that like Grace was not aware of. Was like, what in the fuck?
Right.
But I thought that was fun. Okay, moving on. I can't read my own handwriting. Oh, that was leaning while peeing. Was there ever something someone has said with you? Was there ever something someone said to you? Did someone ever say something that stuck with you for like ever?
Yes, I know there has been, but I'm so bad at thinking of things on the spot that I will need to think about this for a second.
Okay, I'll give you mine. I was in a therapy session with my therapist, and they asked me to describe myself, and I said all of the horrible things that I tell you and we tell each other. Fat, ugly, lazy, no one likes me.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go, okay. And now how would your wife describe you? And I was like, fuck. And it immediately, I was like, gentle, funny, loving. And it broke me a little bit because it made me see through the veil of my own judgments and see how, like, I know that Grace feels this way about me. And if I would have said anything else, it would have been a lie. And bro, when I think about that, it makes me like a little bit emotional.
I bet.
Yeah.
Can I tell you how fucked up my brain is?
Yeah.
Is that I had a very similar experience in therapy once, where I was asked to describe myself, and then I was asked how people close to me would describe me, and obviously that's different. And I said, "This is what I think how they would describe me," but then I said, "But they're wrong. They're wrong to think about me that way. Even my wife.
Yeah.
She's wrong about me because I am a piece of shit." And most of the time I still am like, yeah, I'm right about myself.
It's hard not to feel that way, but I hope that you let people that love you think nice things about you, because they are right. They're allowed to make their own judgments and estimations and evaluations of you. They cannot be wrong. That is how they feel about you.
Yeah, no. Absolutely. But here's the, and intellectually, I know that that's the correct point of view. But the depression so contorts and twists your self-image to the point where you'll make logical leaps to justify ways of viewing the world that reinforce your own negative self-image.
Sure.
So when you say that, I would say yes, absolutely. That is their experience, and it's valid and correct. But I think they just have the wrong experience when they're viewing me. Like, they're viewing me through incorrect lenses.
Yeah, I mean, I understand, because I felt the same way sometimes, but you are then basically calling them dumb, or like,
oh, totally.
And it's
almost a version of narcissistic depression, which seems insane.
No, I understand.
But yeah, it's difficult. Like, self-loathing is a really, it's a brutal spiral to try to escape from.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I didn't mean to make you sad.
No. I'm not.
I love you. You're my bro.
Thanks.
Okay.
I love you too, man.
Thanks.
And I hope you know that even though I have this weird twisted self-perception that like all those positive things that you think that like Grace feels about you, like other people feel about you. I mean, I've told you that.
I know you have many times.
So
thank you.
So anyway,
do you have anything that someone said to you that really stuck with you?
Motherfucker. Dude, I hate how bad my memory is, particularly when somebody's like, think of this thing on the spot.
That's okay.
Because I know I have things in my life that people have said that have stuck with me. And then in the moment, all those neural connections to that memory are just gone. I will say one thing, that this was relatively recent, and I wish I could think of a more long-term example. But one thing that my psychiatrist told me that has really stuck with me is the constant reminder that, like, I am not special.
Yes.
And that my experiences aren't special. And trying to always reframe my perspective of my own life with that has been somewhat helpful.
Yeah.
Even though I constantly go back to the fact that no, I am special. I'm special, but not in a good way. I'm special in a bad way.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it has been, I agree. And I feel the same way. And I think it's been pretty helpful to see people see that friend video that we made and like
Yeah.
also feel similarly. Like they also share that experience and they want
Right.
to join in and reach out and talk to people, which is great.
Right.
But yeah, that framing is important.
Hmm.
I don't always follow it either, but sometimes it's good to know that like I'll never believe that everyone in the grocery store isn't staring at me while I'm in line. So like I can't get away from
I
that
know.
feeling. But yeah. Okay. Switching topics. What hobbies have you tried in your life? Or what hobbies do you want to try? I know we both play games. We both read, as we covered.
We talked about this a little bit last time, but I really wish I could play an instrument.
Mhm.
And I bought a keyboard, and then I started trying to learn it, and then I went, I'm too stupid. I can't figure this out. I quit. I did it for like a month. I was like, I hate it. I can't figure it out. I'm dumb.
What about it did you hate?
That I wasn't learning it.
Like what were you not learning?
That I was going through this process of following this YouTube video where this guy was teaching you chords and practices, and I was practicing every day, and I would practice every day, and I felt like I wasn't getting any better. And but I'm just practicing scales to just like try to like burn that into my brain because I know nothing about music. So I was learning basically everything from the ground up. And then, yeah, I don't know. I just wasn't getting it because I guess have learning disabilities.
Well, I mean, maybe it's just we also have different. What's the word? What's the IQ measurement of?
Intelligence?
Aptitude. We
Aptitude?
have different levels of aptitude
Yeah.
for things. What other hobbies have you tried?
My primary hobby has really always been gaming, but
Same.
well, when I first got into IT, I think I tried for a really long time to I don't know what the active verb for this word is, hobbyize technical skills, where
Yeah.
I was like trying to set up a home lab, but then I realized I don't like it. I don't want to do it.
I feel like such a fucking fake tech guy. That's why I quit.
Yeah.
It's like I just felt like everyone around me was like, "Yeah, dude, I set up my home server. I got my smart home up and running. I got my home SAN." I'm like, "That's cool."
Yeah, I hit that point too, where
Yeah.
it's just like I don't want to go home and do any more of this. I have way too much of it already.
Dude, I hung out with a friend recently, and he found out that I had never set up Apple Pay, and he was like shocked and mad and like could not understand. Not mad, but he was just like, I don't get it. Like, why don't you set it up? I'm like, I don't know. This don't matter. It's fine. I'm just gonna put my card in.
Yeah, why does it matter?
Um,
Or why did it matter to him?
While the place that we were was all tap and pay, like the chips did not work. Like you had to like sign a check in some places. So it was like causing a little bit of slowdown in like the day-to-day transactional process. But to him, it was like, dude, just do, like every day that I was visiting with him, he would be like, just do it. Just do it. And like, this is like 3 months ago, like 2 weeks ago, I set it up and I texted him like, I set it up. He goes, welcome to the real world. Oh man. What happened the other night? We were at that restaurant with you, me, Leslie, and Grace. Something happened where Grace was like, go tell them, go confront them, go. And I was like, I don't need to. It's fine. I don't need confrontation.
I
And
don't remember what happened.
and it was something very
I
simple.
was
Like we
a
needed
little
something.
bit drunk.
Yeah, we needed something. Like we needed,
Yeah,
I don't know, like
remember. Oh,
napkins.
maybe it was napkins.
Yeah, and I was like, I'll just wait. She's like, no, go tell him. Like, no, let's just wait. Like we have such a different approach on confrontation. Like
Mhm.
I'll avoid it at all costs. I think Leslie said she also avoids confrontation.
Yeah.
How do you feel? I think we've talked about this a little bit, but are you the ones going to go and be like, hey, can I get my check or can I get napkins, or would you wait until they come over?
Yeah. If there was something I needed, I would go get it.
Really?
But I also, if it was the napkin situation, that was a particularly awkward moment because I had wings all over my fingers, so I didn't want to stand up and be like, napkins. Like, even though I don't typically shy away from confrontation, that felt a little too weird for me to just like walk up to a server.
Help me.
Like, right.
Man, yesterday I went out to eat and I was with Grace and we were the only people in the restaurant, and it was a like counter service restaurant with some seats, but it was all very small. It was like the size of my living room, if not smaller.
Mhm.
So there was like 3 or 4 booths and then the counter where all the workers were standing doing nothing because there was no one else there. And then I spilled my drink. It's like, I haven't spilled my drink in so long, and I do it in this setting where literally everyone in the restaurant is looking at it and like coming over with like they have like the dinky little napkins that like I literally needed to stack like that thick to clean it up.
Mhm.
I was like, fucking, I want to die right now. I want to die right now. Oh man.
Another hobby I tried to get into
Yeah.
was I tried to get into art stuff,
Yeah.
and then I also gave up on that as quickly, maybe even more quickly.
What kind of art stuff?
I bought fuck, what are those little drawing tablets that
Oh, Wacom.
Wacom? It was one of the cheaper ones, and I was working on some stuff, and then I was like, never mind, I hate this.
It's humbling.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is.
Grace has a iPad Air thing with the pen. Man, I was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna draw some stuff. And I drew like one line, like never, no. And like when I was a kid, I used to. I was really into drawing anime characters, so I had like a whole notebook of anime characters, and stopped doing that eventually. Man, yeah, I'm not. I've done a lot of artistic hobbies
Mhm.
in my adulthood, and I'm not particularly good at any of them. I'd say I'm okay at some of them,
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't have the patience to get like really good at any of them.
yeah.
But
What are some hobbies you've tried?
probably the one that like is still. It's one of the ones I go hardcore on and then stop. Is it's a model building thing, but it's like kind of like Gundam, but it's called Zoids, and they're
Mm.
little like it's based on a show. They're mechs, but they're like animal based. So like think of like a giant scorpion or a giant bull mech. They're cool. They're cool shit.
Sounds
Um,
cool.
but they're just like really intricate little models that you put together. And then on the last one I did, I started to get into painting them and like actually, weathering and putting all the like decals on and all that kind of work. It's a lot of fucking work, man. It's a lot of work.
Man, yeah, that's
I have like 3 or 4 kits unbuilt because I'm like, I want to paint these, but I don't want to do it. So I don't want to like put them together and not have them painted.
I know.
So
That's something I've really thought about. Like we've talked about this before. Warhammer seems like it's so fun to get into, but I know that it's going to be so long before I have time to get into that hobby to the point that I know I will want to get into it, because I would love to try to paint and do all that stuff and paint the little figures, and it sounds awesome.
yeah,
But I have neither the time and definitely not the money.
dude, I got into mini painting for a little bit, and I was pretty into it. I got one of I painted a few different board games figures, but one of the ones was called Battle Lore, and I painted probably like half of one army's figures, and there's 3 armies, and I was like, holy shit, this is gonna take me my whole life. Then I kind of put it down. I painted some other stuff and put it down, and I put all of my paint supplies in a box and forgot where that box was. And then when I moved, they were out in my garage, and when that kind of paint gets frozen, it's ruined. And
Man.
those little pots of paint are like $5 a piece, and I probably had 40, 50 of them.
Oh my god.
That is how fucking dumb I am. I was so mad at myself. Some of them seem salvageable, so I brought them inside, but like a lot of them are just not. Nightmare. But maybe I'll paint some other stuff in the future.
Was that an ADHD? I'll deal with this later. I'll deal with this later.
No, like
Or you just forgot straight up.
I forgot that they were out there, and then I literally like shot out of bed in the middle of the night one night because I like it popped into my head that they
Oh,
were in a
man.
box out because like I think I had known they were in a box out there, but I didn't put 2 and 2 together
Right.
that I needed to not put them out in freezing temperatures, and then I had all the things clicked, and I shot out of bed in the middle of the night, and I ran out there, dug for the box, and I found it. I pulled it in, and I like looked at it the next day, and I was like, "This is fucked."
Brutal.
Brutal. But those hobbies are fun. I did a little bit of cosplay for a while. Grace was really into cosplay. Now she makes costumes for LARPing, but she's like a nonstop creative.
Yeah.
All of her free time is making something. It's incredible, the volume of stuff that she puts out, and anything she wants, she just makes it. It's amazing. Like she's in the process. You can see over there. She's in the process of making a bunch of those hats. They're fucking awesome looking. That's a whole new skill she learned. It's called felting. It's where you take wool and you put it together into shapes like hats.
Yeah, I see Leslie do that kind of shit too, where she just decides she wants to do something or learn something, and then she does it, and I'm like, what? How? What's it like to live that life?
Totally.
To be able to just decide you want to do something and then have the executive function to go do it. Yeah, it sounds amazing.
I have. This is an ongoing problem in my life where it's hyperfixation, where for 1 to 4 weeks something is the most important thing in my life, and I will be all about it. It's the only thing I want to do. I will buy all the stuff for it, and then I look back in 6 months and I haven't used that stuff, and I'm like, what have I fucking done? Like I started learning Godot, which is a video game engine, and it was going great. And I was doing like hours of work a day on it, learning.
I remember that.
And making little projects. And I was like, this is so fun. Like I want to keep going on this. And then I got to a point in one of my projects where like optimization became an issue, and I was like, yeah. And I just like didn't get back to it. And still now I'm like, okay, maybe I'll learn a different engine because there's still a game in my head that I want to make. But yeah, you end up getting so like sucked into something, and then when it falls off, it falls off.
Right.
You ever have that?
I don't typically hyperfixate on stuff other than video games, which kind of sucks. I wish I could hyperfixate on other things in life.
Dude.
But yeah, that experience of running up against a wall and then just giving up is that resonates with me because that's basically my entire life. It's the reason I didn't stick with film in college, which I absolutely is one of the bigger regrets of my life.
Yeah.
Because even just these little podcasts, I love editing. And I'm like doing this, I'm thinking I could have been doing this the whole time.
Yeah.
This whole time I've been bouncing around between careers. Could have been doing this thing that I really enjoy doing.
Still could.
No, I absolutely can.
Yeah.
But and it's not a useful thing to sit back and regret about time missed, but that is a common thread for me. Is I hit an obstacle and I say, okay, I give up.
Totally. Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah. I mean, this happens often where like we're working on a home project. I'm like, we don't have the thing we need, or this came with the wrong parts. It's over.
Oh yeah, dude, that drives Leslie crazy
Dude,
when I do that.
It makes Grace so. That is like, we don't fight very much, but like if we're hanging a ceiling fan and I'm like, this does not have the same box up there as it does in the tutorial. I can't do it.
I can't think of a sentence I like saying or hearing better than "I'll do it tomorrow."
You like saying?
Yeah, because it means I don't have to do it today.
Yeah. How much that makes Leslie mad though, huh?
Oh yeah. Well, not mad, but
Grace, it's angering because for a while it was like, I'll do it tomorrow, man. Maybe in 2 months.
Yeah, I bet it does make Leslie mad, but she's too nice to just straight up be angry at me.
Yeah.
But man, yeah, anytime we're working on something, if it just like you said, if there's one thing that I don't have, instead of going to get it or trying to rectify the problem, I'll just be like, okay, I'll just do this later.
Yeah.
I don't need to do it right now.
Yeah, one thing I started to try to do was, at least, I was trying to do it on a daily basis, but eventually you run out of things. But at least a few times a week, think about like, okay, for one of the things I'm going to do today, what's one thing I can do that will make Grace happy? And like, hang the shelf she's been asking me to rehang because it fell out of the wall. Fucking pain in the ass. Like, just sweep up. Do the trash, whatever. Like, and then I can like do that and then feel like I've done one good thing. I'm gonna go focus on other stuff today. So that's pretty helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So many things I've stopped because of obstacles, man. cosplay was one of those things where like every project I ran it was like, this is an obstacle I can't overcome. Like I would have to have help. Like it's fucking.
Cosplay seems particularly difficult.
It's so hard. It's
There's so many skill sets that you need to have converge to be able to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I look back at every single costume I made. I'm like, there's a reason I stopped. But I had fun doing it. You know, it was one of the early ways me and Grace bonded. We made these Mass Effect costumes, and then we sat there in front of that TV and just sat on the couch with a big table in front of us, just making costumes for like probably a month and a half straight.
It's cool.
It was dope. Let's see. When did you realize we were friends?
When did I realize it? I mean, we bonded pretty quickly.
I think so too.
From working together.
I think so too.
I'm trying. I don't know if there was a moment.
Yeah.
I mean, after a few weeks, you would just start coming with me to all the troubleshooting things, and then that was our workflow from then on.
Yeah.
Where we would just walk around having two people do one guy's job.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Pretty great. Okay.
What about you? When did you realize we were friends?
I don't know. All I can remember is that when the interview you said you like Dark Souls, and I'm like, that's the fucking guy. And then, yeah, that's all I can.
Yeah, we really did bond over Dark Souls.
We did. Yeah, for sure. But we, oddly enough, like we did not play games together a lot when we worked together. And I'm extremely happy at this renaissance of you and I playing games together.
Yeah.
Because it's been a fucking blast.
Yeah, we've had a great time.
And we'll talk about Remnant 2 later, because good game. Have you heard about the superconductor news?
No.
There's a Korean company that has made claims that they have developed a room temperature superconductor. And I'm not a super smart person, so I did a little bit of research, and I won't claim to say that I'm right on any of this, but a superconductor is a material that can conduct electricity with little to no resistance. And then the other hallmark of it is that when it's doing that, it also expulses a magnetic field. And they've claimed that they've made a room temperature one. And the reason that's so important is because things like electricity would become, right now it's when we send electricity over power lines, there's an extreme amount of loss of power. That would be eliminated virtually.
Do you know what material they made it out of?
No. I want to say it's called LK99, but so the other half of this is that everything I've seen from the quotes from the scientific community are like, no, not possible. I don't believe it. And some people are saying like there's been issues trying to get them to replicate it. So it's still a pretty big question mark. But this could enable, like right now there are maglev trains. And I couldn't find concrete information on this, but the maglev trains right now, they use superconductors, but that means they have to cool the material down to like extremely low temperatures. Right. In order for the train to lift. And I'm guessing that the faster you go, the more energy you need, the hotter it gets. So you can only get to a certain speed because of the heat. And maybe other factors like drag and things like that. But theoretically, people are saying that like if we had a room temperature superconductor, your trains could go thousands of miles an hour. You'd be able to go from one end of the country to the other in 20 minutes. This would be the next step in making the sci-fi future that we all think and see in our heads.
Which sounds great for countries that will adopt this technology. They're not going to adopt it here because we're too car-centric.
Yeah, who knows?
Which sucks.
Who knows? I mean, realistically, it could also mean like, hoverboards and shit like that. If you build tracks along the road, shit like, and cheap.
Yeah, so many of those big news stories about breakthrough technologies. I tend to moderate my excitement because a lot of the time it ends up being this material it's too expensive to scale or too rare to scale. Yeah. Which is a big problem with all of the, at its core, the biggest issue we have with electricity right now is storage. because batteries, lithium ion fucking sucks. I mean, it's great, but we don't have good long-term storage. So our entire electric grid is always having to be balanced between supply and demand because you can't store electricity long-term. And every breakthrough I've heard of, this will revolutionize how we store electricity. It's just can't operate at scale because it's too expensive or the material's too rare, and it's just
I feel like some of those also get like quietly shut down and no one ever talks about again. And there's like conspiracy theories of like that people are shutting this down because they don't want this technology to get out, kind of thing. I don't know if there's any validity to that, but
yeah, I don't know.
but yeah, this would also make quantum computing easier and more efficient, so we'd be able to like chew through complex equations faster, and basically it would advance society as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. As of right now, it's just a claim, and this claim is made about once a year. But for some reason, this one like made it into mainstream news, and I'm seeing it like all over TikTok and Reddit and stuff like that.
You know what's this is a little side tangent. It's a fun fact about quantum computing. Is that it's scaring the shit out of security researchers because all of cryptography is useless against a quantum computer. Yeah. So all of these large companies are putting tons of resources into quantum cryptography so that they can harden their systems against the inevitability of quantum computers.
Yeah, if you think about like a quantum computer trying to just like brute force a password, right now it would take a long time for a regular computer to do that, but a quantum computer could chew through like a 20 character password in no time. And it would just passwords are useless now.
Right.
Scary.
It's very scary.
That's the other part of this that
okay.
You got it. So yeah. So that's that. Okay. We had 500 subscribers, and I want to do a little segment called
The Newlywed Game.
Are we really friends? I just want to know how well we really know each other.
All right, I like this.
And I've brought a few questions, but if you want to interject with any questions, feel free. But we'll go through the ones I have first. I'll say the question. We both think of our answer for the other person. Like if I say, "What is your favorite game?" or "favorite game," I will think of what your favorite game is. You think of what my favorite game is, and hopefully we get those answers right. Okay. Favorite game of all time.
Do we? Yeah, you want me to say first?
You go first.
Okay. Well, I hope yours is Dark Souls.
Yeah, I hope yours is too, but I don't think it is.
So what do you think it is?
I think it's Dark Souls, but that's my only real answer.
Yeah, I think it probably is Dark Souls. It's a toss-up between Dark Souls and Path of Exile.
Oh my god, I cannot believe I didn't say fucking Path.
Well, because just to quickly go on this little Dark Souls tangent, I have never in my life had a gaming experience like Dark Souls 1. And as much as I love Path of Exile, I will never forget the just sense of awe I had exploring the world of Dark Souls for the first time. So it's probably Dark Souls.
Yeah, what a fucking phenomenal game.
Yeah.
I'm really sad we didn't play Elden Ring together for the first time. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
But, yeah, okay. Who's your favorite video game character? This one, I have no idea what I'm going to say, so I need to think about it.
Okay. I mean, I think I know who yours is. I'm not even sure if I know what mine is.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if I know what mine is. I need to think about what mine is first. Bro, I really fucking don't know.
Well, I'm going to throw out my guess for you.
Okay.
My guess for you is Solaire.
Wrong, but I understand why you would think that. Because my cat is named Solaire. I think Solaire is a great character. He represents the sun, jolly cooperation.
Yep.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
But I think my favorite video game character is probably Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh, I wouldn't know that because I didn't even play that game.
Yeah. Just very good character development.
Yeah.
And just like, it was one of the few video game stories that like really pulled me in all the way through, and I was like completely sympathetic to this character, and little tears shed in the end kind of deal. For you, man, it's so hard because you don't play single player games. So I'm trying to think of like games where characters would even have an impact.
Yeah, I think I know it now. But yeah, it's
I don't know any of the characters' names in Path, but they don't really have much characterization.
no. I also don't care about the story and path too much.
Yeah, just tell me because I don't know.
Because my experience in single player games is so limited, it's probably Geralt from Witcher.
Oh, okay, that's a dude. I forgot you played that. That's a good game.
Yeah.
Favorite movie? I do not know your favorite movie.
Fuck. I have no. I mean, yours is probably a horror movie that I haven't seen.
I'm not going to say yes or no.
Can we do hints?
I told you it recently.
Fuck. Oh. Okay. Can I guess?
Yeah.
Is your favorite movie The Borderlands?
No.
Shit.
Shit.
Fuck.
I think I know your favorite horror movie, but I don't think I know your favorite movie. I think you might have told me in a podcast.
I think so.
You told me like your top 3 movies, and one of them I had never seen. And it was about this like real story that happened. I'm not sure if that was the one. But you also said Aliens was up there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what else. What are yours?
So what my favorite movie is?
Yeah.
I think my favorite movie is Spotlight.
That's the one I was thinking of, and I couldn't remember that.
Yeah.
Okay. My favorite movie?
Fuck. You told me it recently. I don't know.
Lord of the Rings.
Oh fuck. Yes. God damn it.
We had a conversation about Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. You were like aghast that I watched the extended editions of both of those trilogies on a yearly basis.
Aghast is a bit strong. But that's a lot of those movies to watch every year. And I knew people that used to do the extended edition of Lord of the Rings. But the extended edition of The Hobbit, okay, maybe I was aghast at The Hobbit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I didn't like
Hobbit. I think that they have just immaculate vibes, particularly the first one.
Yeah.
And for us, I don't know how this started. It became like a Christmas watch.
Mm.
So like just those cozy dwarf vibes, like that is just our thing for Christmas.
Yeah.
Those good fantasy vibes. So that just became that got on the Christmas roster somehow. I have no idea how.
Yeah. That's a cool tradition though.
Yeah, it's fun. This one might be a gimme, but we need some of those. What is your preferred genre when it comes to media?
Yeah, well, yours is horror. Or, wait, is it horror or fantasy?
So you're right on the money. When it comes to, it's actually different. So for movies, it's horror. For games, it's fantasy.
Okay.
And probably books, it's fantasy too.
Yeah.
Actually, books is pretty torn between horror and fantasy, but you're right on the money. For you, sci-fi?
Yeah, all the way.
All the way.
All the way in every genre, I want sci-fi.
This is not a gimme because I have no idea what my answer is. What animal would you be if you could be any animal?
Shit.
Oh man. Trying to think of what animals are the dopest.
So this is an interesting question because what animal do I like the most and what animal would I be are two very different answers.
Absolutely. You need to pick an animal that you would want to. You have a druid form and it has to be one animal. What form is that druid form?
Okay, I know my answer.
Okay, let me think about my answer before you answer for me.
Hopefully we can connect on a psychic level here.
I'm so torn between two, but they're similar they're similar. I'm gonna pick one. You won't guess it, but I'm gonna pick one.
Okay, let's do, since this is gonna be so shot in the dark, we should do, is it bigger or smaller than a human?
Bigger.
Okay, same for me.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is big boy. Okay. Does it live on land or in the water?
Land.
Okay. Water.
Water?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Is it a mammal?
Yeah.
Bear.
No.
Fuck. Gorilla?
Elephant.
Oh, okay. Why elephant?
They're dope as fuck.
They
dude.
are dope, and they have the superpower that we have the super weakness of memory.
Yes. Yeah, they can really remember shit.
Oh man,
No, elephants are so fucking cool.
they're so cool. I would love to just hang out with elephants,
Yeah,
but
and they're the biggest, so nobody fucks with them.
everyone fucks with them though.
What? Oh yeah, they fuck with them, but then they're elephants.
Yeah, but
so
don't
they
get-
say
don't
go
get
away.
hunted for their ivory.
Oh yeah, okay, humans fuck with them,
Yeah.
but no other animals fuck with them.
Yeah, yeah. Elephants are fucking cool. I would love to hang out with an elephant.
I know.
One day. That's on my bucket list. I've hung out with some animals, not elephants.
I know. Ugh.
Okay, so what's mine?
All right. Wait, is yours a mammal?
Yes. I think.
Bigger than a human. It's a mammal. Lives in water. I'm gonna guess orca.
You know what? No, but it's basic. It's a whale. It's the blue whale because it's the
Oh, okay.
biggest.
That was gonna be my other guess.
Yeah, blue whale.
So we both just guessed the biggest animal in their respective
Well,
region.
yeah, part of it was survivability.
Right. I don't want to get
I don't wanna-
hunted.
I don't want to get fucked with. I initially was like maybe eagle because I want to be able to fly
Mhm.
and see the world. But then I thought I can see most of the world as a human, but I can't see most of the world under the water as a human
Mhm.
without getting crushed. Whales, they can do a lot.
Yeah.
They can go a lot of places. I mean, not so many small places, but thankfully ocean's very big. Man, yeah, blue whale, big.
Do you? So I would just. This was maybe a week ago. I was watching this video of this woman who was a biologist, and she studied blue whales. And she, I don't know. Stop me if you heard the story, but she had sort of made a loose connection with a whale that she was interacting with a lot. And she was diving one day near the whale, and the whale swam up to her and got right up next to her, and she was like grabbing onto its fin, and it was swimming and orienting her in different directions. And she was really confused because she had never seen this behavior before. She was thinking like, this whales have never done this to me, and I've been studying them for years, like decades. And then she realized when somebody else on the boat pointed out that there is a shark right near her,
Oh,
and that
man.
whale was shielding her from the shark.
I got chills, dude.
Can
I got goosebumps.
The intelligence
It's so
and
incredible.
empathy of that sort of thing just blows me away, and I love shit like that
It's incredible.
of animals seeing a like animals and humans connecting on such a level like that.
Yeah. You ever seen My Octopus Teacher?
I never watched it, but I saw parts of it, and it's supposed to be amazing.
It was pretty good. But like, yeah, that connection that they had. I won't eat octopus anymore.
Yeah.
And I probably shouldn't eat most animals, but yeah, man, you realize like how smart and how like connected that they can be. It's like
Mhm.
this is it's wrong of us to take their lives for no reason.
Yeah.
They don't even taste that good. I've had plenty of octopus in my life.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah. Okay. This is another shot in the dark, and I have to think about my own answer. I should have thought about this ahead of
Shit.
time. Pet peeve. What is your pet peeve? Or just a pet peeve. It doesn't have to be your one, because we all have multiples.
Okay.
Yeah, I got mine.
I have mine, but I do not know what yours would be. I mean, I know things that have annoyed you, but I just don't know if they're your pet peeve.
Can I guess yours?
Yeah.
Irritating little noises.
Yeah, yes.
But what was the one
Specifically mouth sounds. You know, if somebody is loudly eating that,
sipping, eating, burping? Burping really bothers you. And I understand
not
it
as
in
much.
person, but like when I burp on a mic, you're like, dude, you're burping on a mic.
well, okay. Let's clarify the situation. It's not one singular burp that bothers me. It's a series of burps
Mhm.
over and over and over
Mhm.
over the course of a game session.
Yeah, if I'm drinking White Claws, I'm burping. But if we're hanging out in person and I'm drinking White Claws, I'm burping.
Yeah, but the difference
you
is
have a mute button on your keyboard. I don't. I'd have to go like this.
Yeah.
and that's annoying. If we're
the difference is on when we're on Discord, it's like you walked right up to me and burped into my ear, because that's where I'm hearing it, and that's where you're sending that burp.
yeah, I understand. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
We used to. I mean, there's people in our lives that burp a lot, and sometimes people are more gross about it. Those people near me burping like close, like if you're over there burping, whatever. But if you're like right next to my head burping, that really bothers me.
Yeah,
I think burps are as gross as farts to me.
Man, that's
in terms of
pretty
smell.
crazy.
I think it's partially because I think I told you this. My dad would burp really disgustingly, like watery, gross burps.
Yeah,
We'd be in the car and I'd be like, roll the window down. No, this is horrible.
Yeah, and it's a bit hypocritical of me because I burp a lot at home.
Mm-hmm.
But I also don't mind it if people burp, like you said, from a distance.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me. Unless it's a really gross sounding burp.
Yeah, gross smell. If we hang out and we're eating and then we go hang out afterwards and we burp, then it's really bad because then you have like your post lunch burps. Those are nar.
I have no idea what your pet peeve is. Maybe burping. I don't know.
It's not.
It's not burping.
I told you about it a week ago or 5 days ago.
This is just a game that is drawing into sharp clarity how bad my memory is.
It's hard to think of things on the spot, so I don't blame you. So at some point we'll send questions to each other ahead of the show, but that's okay. Just guess, and I'll tell you.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I would have guessed burping.
Dirty hands, greasy hands.
Oh,
That really fucking bothers me. I hate it.
Just they existing or having to interact. Oh,
I have greasy hands. Drives me up. Dirty hands in general, but grease especially, I can't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm always using Dawn dish soap to wash my hands. My hands are probably like overly dry and aged because of that.
Yeah, but you said you just started moisturizing recently.
I did.
How's that been
33
going?
years old. It's pretty good. It's a little bit gross. I do not like the way it feels on my hands, but I'm trying to move past that.
Well, now, do you get moisturizer that... So after, 10, 15 minutes, you shouldn't feel it at all on your hands.
We had this conversation.
I know.
But I feel it.
Yeah, but what's the moisturizer you're using? Because that totally depends on what you're using.
It's the one that you recommended to me years ago. CeraVe.
Yeah.
CeraVe. CeraVe. I don't know what it's called. CERAVE.
I don't know.
And for the most part, yes, after 20 minutes, my hands feel okay, but they're still like, I don't like touching a controller with those hands.
That's fair.
I don't like touching my keyboard with those hands. So like I have to be doing nothing. So it's when me and Grace are watching TV, I'll lather up, moisturize my face. I think under here is going to be fine because I condition my beard every day. So this in below will be no problem. But like up here, I gotta make sure that I don't get too old looking. But yeah, I do not like the grease hands. But I put it on my feet, and like the next day I felt it on my foot. I'm like, this feels wrong. It feels gooey.
You want to know? This would probably drive you insane, but I don't know why my feet are unbelievably dry.
Mine too.
Like disgustingly so.
No, mine too. Do you have cracked feet?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The whole foot.
Yeah. Okay. Mine is mostly my heels are cracked.
Yeah, it's my heels and my toes and the whole part of it.
It's crazy that happens.
Bro. So
can I interrupt you for 1 second?
Sure.
You ever got a pedicure?
No, because I'm too embarrassed.
Let's go. I have worse feet than you, and I get it done.
No.
And it is embarrassing, but let me tell you something, dude. After they shave all the Parmesan off your feet and moisturize them, your feet feel like they don't belong to you for like a week. It's incredible.
No, I can't. I have worse feet than you.
You don't.
I do.
You don't.
I absolutely do.
You don't, but go on.
It's the same reason why I won't go get a massage, because I don't want
There's so many reasons I wouldn't get a massage.
Because I don't want to subject somebody else to like how fat my body is, and I don't want to subject a foot person, pedicurist, to how gross my feet are.
Dude, can I tell you something really embarrassing?
Yes.
And I can't reach my back to moisturize it. but my back is one of the places that gets really dry because it's a huge back and you put hot water on it in the shower.
Mhm.
And so I have to have Grace do it. But she won't do it with her hands because when she puts it on, just all the hair comes off with it. So she does like hairy moisturizer. It's so gross. And I can't blame her. But at the same time, like, man, I am disgusting. Because I'm so
You're a
hairy.
very hairy dude.
Yeah, I have like on my lats, it's just 2 wings of hair. So I'm like a hairy angel.
I have no hair on my back.
Your
None.
chest hair?
I have a little bit of chest hair.
A little, dude. It's like a fucking. I have a sweater.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm not a very hairy dude.
You're pretty lucky.
Sometimes yes, but some people like hairy dudes.
Yeah, I mean, we're already with our partners, so it doesn't really matter. So now it's just kind of like, for me, it's just kind of disruptive. I just have hair everywhere. I lived in when I had COVID, I had to stay in a hotel for a week because like I had flown out to go do work, and I landed and I was like, I feel sick, and then I took a COVID test and I was fucking sick. So I stayed in the hotel for a week, and after a week, I looked in the white bathroom, and there was you couldn't go an inch without running into another piece of hair somewhere. Beard, head, body. Mostly the chest, dude, and the back. Like when I'm drying off, like there's just so much. I don't know how I still have hair. So sorry, I'm gross.
Oh yeah.
I'm being very open. Maybe I shouldn't be, but
No, I think that's great.
That's life. What were we talking about? Oh, pet peeves. Okay.
Pet peeves, yeah.
All right. This one I have no fucking idea, but maybe you would know mine. Favorite musical artist? I'm going to take a shot in the dark for you and say Kavinsky. I should have let you think first, but it's probably not them.
I don't, to be honest, I don't think I have an answer.
Okay.
Because I can't single out a single artist.
But do you like Kavinsky?
I do like Kavinsky a lot.
Okay, good.
I'm going to also take a shot in the dark, and I don't even know if this is the right name. MF Doom?
No, but that's a good one. I like MF Doom a lot.
I remember you went through a period of listening to him a lot.
Yeah, he's great. He's up there with favorite rappers. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. My friend has MF Doom wore a mask, kind of like Dr. Doom.
Mm-hmm.
He wore a mask, so no one ever knew what he looked like. And my friend has a stage used one of his masks.
That's pretty cool.
It's fucking dope.
Yeah.
What's your favorite season
of time
of the year?
of years?
Yeah.
Well,
Kind of changes state to state, but
yeah. So I would say yours is. I mean, I'm torn between fall and winter. I would say winter.
you're right.
Okay.
I would say fall for you,
Yeah. I mean, in theory,
in theory.
we don't have fall
We
here.
don't really have fall, but it's cooler in November.
Right. I would love to live in a place that has a fall.
Northeast, man.
Yeah.
Some good ass leaf changing.
Because here we have really hot, and then we have a month of 80 degrees, which feels a lot better.
Yeah,
And then we have
October is
winter.
still blisteringly hot sometimes.
Yeah, it's like 80s
Yeah,
for October, and then we have winter.
yeah, and then November gets pretty chilly.
Yeah.
How tall are you, or how tall are each other? I don't know your height, and if I guess and it's wrong, you're gonna be mad at me.
No, I wouldn't be mad at you.
Okay, I'm gonna guess 5'9",
No.
5'10".
Yes.
Okay, that's pretty
Yeah,
close.
pretty close. You're 6'3".
That's right. 'Cause I definitely say that enough. I need
Yeah.
people to know how tall I am because I'm not a dwarf. I get a lot of dwarf comments. I don't know why people would think that about me. Don't look like a dwarf, that's for sure. What's your favorite restaurant? I'm gonna guess. Think of yours and then I'll make my guess.
Fuck.
Ow.
I don't know what my favorite restaurant is. For me, this is like the music question where
Yeah, there's
that changes depending on what my
changes.
mood is in.
Okay, let's rephrase that. What if you had to pick one restaurant to eat at every day, forever, in Austin? What would it be?
Without negative consequences to my health?
Correct.
Okay. So for you, I would say Chick-fil-A.
Could be, but it's not.
Damn.
For you, I'd say cilantro, which is also my answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking so good.
It's so good.
Man, it's so good. Yeah, every time I'm eating a cilantro burrito, I'm like, there is nothing else I would rather be eating than this burrito right now.
You know, there are people I know who don't like that place. And could you imagine just being objectively wrong about something
I
like
can't
that?
imagine. Okay, this is something that came up when we used to work together. We had a couple of fucking idiots that we worked with that like would actively choose to go to a restaurant that was 4 restaurants down from Cilantro, and it was called Chipotle, which might have the most boring fucking food ever created by man. Not cheap either. Not compared. Like Cilantro's just the same price. You could have the shittiest burrito, the most boring plant. It's not bad. It's just like so boring. Or you could go 4 stores down and get the best burrito.
Yeah.
And these fucking idiots chose to have Chipotle.
Oh man.
Do you hate Chipotle?
I don't. I used to sometimes.
Sorry, you used to eat. I was asking, do you hate it? I think it's just like there's
It's
no
fine.
time I would choose that, especially in Austin. We have so many burrito options.
Yeah.
Like if I'm not going to eat at Cilantro, I'll go to Freebirds. I don't even like Freebirds anymore.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. What's really funny is they're going to watch this podcast.
I
and
know, fucking ding dongs. What are you doing? It's absolutely insane. Is it Ben's one of those people?
I can't remember if he liked cilantro or not. I think he preferred Chipotle. But there's one person that I am still friends with who actively dislikes cilantro.
Name and shame.
And that person is just wrong, just straight up wrong. And they need to examine their life choices.
Does their name end with Auntie?
Auntie? No.
Start with D?
No. Dante likes cilantro.
Okay.
Yeah, Dante's right.
But he's also a Chipotle guy. I know he is because of his Chipotle stories.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. This is an easy one. Pineapple on pizza.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, yes. For you.
Yes.
Yes.
I know for you. I wrote this down. I was like, he ate it literally. What Hogwarts house? Do you know what Hogwarts house you are?
No, because I have never read or watched Harry Potter.
Fuck. Well, what Hogwarts house am I? Because you wouldn't know either.
I mean, I think I know the houses.
So
I
there's
don't know what they mean.
Gryffindor. Okay, let's pull up.
Wait.
I'm gonna pull up what each house summary is.
No. I want to guess from my uneducated perspective. So I am gonna say that you are Gryffindor.
Wrong, but thank you. Well, no, not. I mean, whatever. People, all the ding dongs want to be Gryffindor. Gryffindor is like leaders and courageous. I'm Hufflepuff, who's like
that was going to be my second
the
guess.
goofballs, basically. Grace is also Hufflepuff. Grace took the original quiz and was Hufflepuff, and we made all these Hufflepuff costumes. And then later on, they redid the quiz, and she's like, "I'm Gryffindor," and I'm like, "Dude, you're a fucking puff, and there's nothing you can do about it."
Yeah.
And lastly, what do we like about each other? Like, what do you think I like about you? And I already know what you like about me because we just talked about it. But what do you think I like about you?
I don't know.
Okay.
Because I don't know what anybody likes about me.
Okay.
Which is a good question.
One thing I like about you, other than our shared interests, is over the course of our friendship, we've had even if we have different opinions on something, you're easy to talk to about things that we disagree on because you're not fighting with me over it. You're listening to my perspective and you're open to changing your mind and I'm open to changing my mind. And I think you're just a person that I have really good conversations with and even just about our friendship. We talk to each other about things that I've done that upset me, you, or vice versa. And we work through it. I think you're a great communicator and fun to hang out with, man.
Thanks, man.
Easy and fun to hang out with.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
No problem, dude.
Wait, so what that was supposed to be my answer?
That's what
right.
That's what I think about you.
Okay.
But you didn't have an answer because you didn't know what I would have liked about you.
Yeah.
But I think what you like about me is, you think I'm personable.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much since the beginning, I started at Rooster Teeth. You just have this like big, boisterous personality, and you're fun to be around.
I bellow.
You definitely do.
Okay, let's move into. Okay, we have 2 topics to talk about. Hold on. From our Discord, topics from our Discord. The first one is from I've Got Issues, and he wants to talk about how close to everything, or close to 30, everything creaks in our body.
Yeah, I saw this come up, and I would say that if you're like me and you don't really take care of yourself and you eat shitty and you don't exercise enough, then it started happening pretty much at 30. Uh, but a lot of those problems can be fixed with regular exercise and taking care of yourself.
It's insane how much
Not that I do.
strengthening your body will fix those problems. Like
particularly lifting weights.
Yeah, I have so much. Like I have this recurring lower back pain, but if I go and do like those back extensions where your body's sort of like at this angle, and your legs are sort of locked in, and then your top half is like lowering down. If I do those on a regular basis, I don't have lower back pain.
Right.
And if I do, if I don't, I do.
Yeah.
It's mind blowing.
Mm-hmm.
And everything is like that. Like everything has like a little. If I do a little workout for this or that, like all the pains go away.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. But I started throwing my back out a lot more, approaching 30 and into my 30s, just for dumb shit. Like I bent over to pick up a sock one time. That was it. I like collapsed. Fuck.
Oh, God. That sucks.
It sucks, dude.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't had cartilage in my right knee since I was like 20, so that was creaking for me for a long time. But
damn.
I
saw some exercises to strengthen your knee recently. There's this. You can either do it on a regular treadmill where you put it on an incline and then walk backwards slowly. And then there's another treadmill that's just designed for that, where they have like a strap that you kind of like lean up against and then walk up at an incline. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And then lastly, from Sleepy Sheepy, which is better, waffles, pancakes, or French toast?
Absolutely waffles.
Yeah, I don't agree.
That's okay. I mean, sometimes I'm right, sometimes you're wrong.
Have you been to not International? I have Original Pancake House.
No.
Oh, dude, they have really they do a sour starter, which is like the same thing you would use for like a sourdough, but they do a sour starter for their pancake batter and probably also their waffle batter. Unfucking real.
What? So your answer is pancakes.
Pancakes. Yeah. I really also like French toast. I would say
too.
I would say like waffles are the one that get messed up the most often. They're the hardest to get right.
Absolutely.
A good waffle is pretty much unbeatable, but the amount of super mediocre waffles
totally
makes me lean more towards
yeah, it just but in terms of like which one, if I could have the best of each of those, it would absolutely be a waffle.
Yeah. There's this one pancake I get from Original Pancake House that like I just think is the best, so I don't know.
It's hard to try that.
It's so fucking good. There's also a place in Georgetown called Monument Cafe, and they have Belgian pearl waffles.
Ooh.
Do you know what those are?
No.
So
it sounds good.
It's a Belgian waffle, but they use pearl sugar, and pearl sugar is basically like little, like almost BB gun size BBs of sugar, and so you put it in at the last second of the batter so it doesn't dissolve, and you bake it, and you have these little crunchy bits of sugar. It's unreal.
That sounds amazing.
It's one of those things that like you have to go early enough that they don't sell out of them. Because we went, me and Grace, and she's like, "I'll have the Belgian pearl waffles." And she goes, "Okay." And then she goes to me, she's like, and I was like, "I'll have the Belgian pearl waffles." She goes, "She just had the last one." I was like, "Fuck." It's the people closest to you, man.
The ones who hurt you the most.
Okay. Let's talk about some games, dude.
Yeah. God damn, how good is Remnant 2?
Yeah, first off, thank you for buying me Remnant 2 after our last podcast. That was very kind of you. God damn, that game is so good.
I just knew that we played for a little bit when we did our last podcast, and I just knew that was a game that you would click with.
I will be honest with you, if we had not co-opted, I probably would not have clicked.
Really?
The first few hours of that game are pretty rough. Like
yeah, they're kind of hard.
They're hard. your character does not feel particularly powerful. Your cooldowns are long enough that like you don't feel like the skills are as powerful as they should be. Like I was using I was doing the challenger. I did the war stomp, and it was like, okay, this is fine. It's doing a little damage, but then you like go hit a boss with it, and the boss is like, yeah, whatever. So I kind of felt like, man, this is a little bit challenging. I'm not really getting very rewarded. It wasn't until a few hours in, I would say probably like 4 hours in, maybe 5 hours in, where I started to like upgrade some melee weapons, start finding a couple pieces of rings that synergize, and then start smacking shit that I was like, yo, this is fucking dope. My God, that game is so good.
It's incredible.
It feels like one of those games where you would have played it and been like, wow, this is a game that I see where they were going with it. If they just filled out the content a little bit more and added a little bit more to it, it would be amazing. But this is the game that did all those things.
Right. Yeah, it does what is my favorite experience to have in any game, which is playing through something with my friends, finding secrets, because that game is absolutely loaded with secrets.
Yeah.
And that process of discovery, and we went through this multiple times, and I went through this with the other friends I was playing with, which was, oh, this looks like it should be something. That looks weird. Like this feels like there's something hidden here, and then we spend some time tinkering with it, and then we find out there is something. It's so satisfying. It's so satisfying.
It is so satisfying. Like, and like also the creativity of some of those fights. Like, one thing that we could talk about is like you played the first night with a couple of your other friends, and then you came and played in my game, and we got the same first starting zone. But like everything was different. So you didn't see any of these things before, even though you had beaten this area.
Right.
And so we ran into this one fight that was like, you walk into a room and the guy's like, eat. And then we walked up and we're like, okay. And we started eating. And then like our character's like, pretty good. And he goes, and he eats it all. And then all of a sudden, like you have the status effect where you're ravaged, like you're hungry. And all these enemies start pouring out and you like try to heal and you're like, I can't heal. And then you're like, oh, there's more food. I'm going to eat the food on the table. And you eat the food on the table. And you're like, okay, oh, there's no more food left. Oh, fuck. These little people are out. Why are these little people running around and the enemies are eating them? Well, you try to save them. Then you eat the little people. You eat the people. It's great. Oh, my God. Hudson fell down. I better go revive him. And I pick Hudson up. And then I eat Hudson. It's like, dude.
We were just screaming.
This is fucking crazy. Like, that fight it reminded me of Destiny. So creative. Remember me a Destiny raid, which is a high compliment, I would say, for boss design. Fucking cool game, dude.
Yeah, it's so good.
We
have some we had some really good times this week playing that.
Yeah, and I basically ignored my responsibilities.
Same.
And put 40 hours into that game.
Yep.
It's ridiculous. It's so good. I still need to finish it. I'm stuck on a boss sort of a little bit later. There's still plenty of shit to find, like probably an unreasonable amount. I am afraid I'm going to fall off of it depending on what happens at the end game. So towards the end of the game, you start to see the holes a little bit, where, even with, maxed out levels and stuff, you're still taking crazy damage. And if the subreddit is to be believed, the higher levels are just like more. And they basically become like a no-hit simulator, according to the Reddit.
Yeah, we had talked about trying to play through the hardest difficulty together, but even in the second difficulty, just the other night we were playing. I'm in heavy armor. I have close to 40% damage reduction.
Yeah,
I had several stacks of their damage mitigation buff bulwark. And enemies were still like 3-shotting me.
Yes.
Like I could get combo killed.
Yeah.
And the fact that the gear doesn't get better in the later difficulties makes me not want to try the later difficulties.
Yeah. I think that's one area, armor and just like later difficulty progression is one area they could improve in. But it does seem like they're open to improvements.
Oh, absolutely. And the devs have said that they are already thinking of things to do for people who want more of an in-game experience.
That's great.
And that's coming in DLCs.
Yeah.
So that is absolutely a game I'm going to come back to on the first DLC, like I did with Remnant 1. And I'm super pumped for that.
Cool.
Yeah, what a great game.
So good.
And then
I played Baldur's Gate. That game's amazing.
yep.
I am not a D&D person, so I feel like maybe I'm missing a little bit of like, well, I'm definitely missing a little bit of like knowledge and judgment when it comes to how to roll characters, how to do stuff.
Yeah.
But coming from Divinity, I've played through those games, and this is a lot like Divinity with more shit and more polish. Although I don't know how much more shit. Like, it's hard to say. I'm having a little bit of trouble distinguishing it from Divinity. In terms of like its mechanics and all the secrets to find, because I felt like Divinity was overwhelming too, like in a good way, and this one is also. There seems to be more classes, more subclasses, and stuff like that. It's just, I mean, but it is, to me, a lot like Divinity.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a good thing.
Yeah, to me that's only upside because like you, I'm not super into D&D as an RPG system. It's cool that this is out there. That I know there's people who are excited for this specifically because it is a representation of D&D. I just don't care about that as much. I just want more Divinity. So the fact that it just feels like Divinity 3 that sounds great to me.
Yeah, and it has like, I'm sure you played in the early access. Like, instead of just saying you failed or succeeded, it shows you your roll check, which is something I appreciate because you at least you feel like you have some agency over it, even though it's just a roll. But man, that game is fucking cool. I started playing a wizard, and then in the second level, when you get to your second level, you get to choose what school of magic, and I picked necromancy because I wanted to be a necromancer. And I feel a little bit weak, but as my party composition sort of came together, and I got to level 3, and I just now found like basically what seems like the Necronomicon. And I'm like, okay, I think this is going to get really cool really fast. And it already feels a little bit faster paced than Divinity.
It's good.
In Divinity, I felt like I would go explore the starting island, run into stuff I couldn't beat, and then have to come back like 2 or 3 levels later. And then in this game, it feels like I went up against an encounter that I couldn't beat, but I came back just a little bit later through a different door. And when I did that, they happened to all be surrounding an explosive barrel, and I killed 3 of the 6 of them in one shot. And I was like, okay, now I have a fucking chance, and I beat it. And it seems like there's so much shit hidden in this game, and such an obscene amount of secrets and like diversity. Like, as a necromancer, or a trinket I found lets you talk to the dead. And this is one anyone could find because it's just a necklace. But basically, any corpse you kill, you can ask it 5 questions. So if you think about that, like, every corpse in the game has to have questions tied to it. And a lot of those questions have branching questions off of them.
It's crazy. I mean, the amount of detail in these games, it just sounds like they ramped up the detail even more than Divinity 2.
And it was already crazy.
Right.
It's fucking nuts. I found a dog, and thankfully I happened to also have found a potion of animal speaking. So I drank the potion, talked to the dog, and the dog became my friend. I'm like, this is fucking right.
I can't wait to play it.
Yeah, it's everything I could have wanted. And unlike I thought last week where I wasn't going to be able to get into it, I've already sunk like 7 hours into it. I'm in.
Great.
Yeah. And story-wise, super interesting. I think I think they're called illithids. The mind flayers are very interesting. And what's happening to the characters is interesting. And the companions you meet are all pretty distinct and have cool storylines. And that's another fucking thing. There's like 8 origin characters, or maybe more like maybe 10 origin characters, which are like preset stories and preset like characters that they've designed for you to play instead of playing a custom character. And like, they all look interesting.
That's great. That bodes well for replayability too, because in Divinity, the origin characters had a lot going on with their personal stories and areas you could only access if you were playing that character.
Dude,
and
there's this one, I want to say it's called like the Dark Path. That's the origin character's name, and it's a murderer.
It's a what?
A murderer.
Oh, a murderer.
Like, that sounds so fucking cool.
Awesome.
Like, Like their whole storyline is about murdering.
I typically play good people in these games, and
I do too.
I do kind of want to play an evil party.
Dude, I'm playing a necromancer, and I'm like, I keep having to remind myself that I'm a bad guy, but I'm still doing some good stuff. Like I
Yeah.
ran into a creature, and got lucky in my rolls, and I intuited that the creature was just trying to defend its little baby, and I said, "Have a good day, sir."
Chaotic evil.
Yeah,
I like it.
yeah. All right, well, let's go fucking eat some chicken wings.
Yeah, let's go do it.
All right, thanks everyone.
See you next time.